for 17 years. During our tenure, we have provided recreational and educational forums that have nurtured the growth of many youth in the community. YEP has also serviced hundreds of youngsters around New York City. YEP's target audience is youth from the age of 11 to 18 with the goal of helping youth become productive adults. YEP provides young people with resources to explore leadership skills, community involvement, and self-development. YEP consists of weekly and bi-weekly informational sessions with guest speakers from professional, political, and entertainment arenas. Also, as a part of community involvement, YEP will host trips to a variety of venues for educational and recreational experiences. As we continue to partner with other local organizations and serve our community, we will strive to unite and develop the youth in our community. The mission of the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program is building mind, body, and community.
Well, I believe we're here. We're on. We're kicking it live here in the Millennium 24 news studio. But we're here at the set of King Talk Tuesdays. And again, welcome to another edition of King Talk Tuesdays. I'm your host, Andy King, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We cover so many topics, whether it's education, spirituality, economics, and so much more. We air every Tuesday. We're live here at Millennium 24 news station, as well as we're on Amazon Prime. We're also Roku TV, Apple TV, Smart TVs, Horizon Satellite. And as well, we come on every night, every Tuesday night. Let me get that right for you. 9 p.m. on Optimal Channel 70, as well as Fire Channel 2136. You know what I always say, right? People pay attention to people who participate. So I encourage everyone who's watching tonight to tell a friend, tell a neighbor that King Talk Tuesdays is on. You can catch us all throughout every Tuesday and throughout the week on some of our previous shows. They air every Tuesday throughout the week on Optimal TV, which is BronxNet, as well as Fire Channel 2136. But you can also leave us a chat on our Facebook or our YouTube channel just to stay connected on what we've been doing, and know that King Talk Tuesdays is the show with real views, real news, and real talk. You know, there's a lot going on in the world today, but you know what I really want to know? Well, let's talk about it. What's going on? As the great Marvin Gaye used to say, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Well, let's talk about what's going on. The month of August is right around the corner, and there's so much happening in the Boogie Down Bronx. And we're just going to tell you a little bit about some of the activities, and there's so much more. But we're just going to share a few with you right now. We're going to let you know that on Thursday, the 1st of August, is that there will be a food distribution at the Bronx Uptown outdoor site on the corner of East 229th Street and White Plains Road. It'll happen at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock this Thursday, there will be a food distribution at the Bronx Uptown outdoor spot, and it's being sponsored by the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program, as well as Eagle Nest Church and the Nation of Islam, Mosque number 7, coming together to distribute food, fresh food. So come on out and get some food that day. You know, don't be shy, don't be masterful. You know that we all struggling at any given moment, that we can always use some fruit or just something to spruce up the refrigerator or our cabinets. Afterwards, after that, the Nation of Islam Mosque number 7 will be having it's starting off doing its regular group sessions that will happen right afterwards at 7 p.m. at the Bronx Uptown indoor site, which is at 4062 White Plains Road. So please come on by, get some food, get yourself some spiritual enlightenment, whatever your belief system, just get something in your system, because what we eat, we are who we eat. It's not just necessarily the food, but the knowledge and the wisdom that we put into our bodies and into our spirit. Secondly, we want to let you know that on Uptown's very own DJ Chuck Chillout is going to be honored and celebrating 40 years of being one of hip hop's and radio's one iconic DJs. I'm so grateful to know Chuck from the early days of PS 78 when we used to jump off the roof acting like knuckleheads, as thinking we were in the Army, doing so much to making sure that we were great young people growing up. This will be held on that day on August 1st as well at Crotona Park. So make sure that you can get there, Crotona Park, at 6 o'clock in the Boogie Down Bronx. Next, we want to let you know that on Friday, August 2nd, that the United Way and Choose Healthy Life will be hosting a hope and healing service at the United Church of Jesus Christ. That will be from 4 to 7 p.m. The address is 3936 Bronxwood Avenue. That's on the corner of 224th Street, between East 223rd Street and East 224th Street. If you need some hope, you need some healing, that's one day that you might want to attend that service. Again, we got to fill up our vessel. We got to fill up our temple with some of the right stuff that's out here today. Then we want to let you know on August 3rd. August 3rd is a busy day. On August 3rd, we'll be kicking off Jesus Week here in the borough of the Bronx. And we're going to kick it off first with a unity walk, which starts at 11 a.m. But we'll be congregating. The procession will meet at 10 a.m. at 1234B East Gun Hill Road. That's in front of Fellowship Tabernacle Ministry, which is on the corner of Pearsall and East Gun Hill Road. We're asking everybody to come out and be a part. So many of us, so many of our family, so much of our heritage is built in scriptures, built in love, especially those of us who've been enslaved, and the Bible's been a way to tell us about who we are, why we're going through it. You know what? He sent his only begotten son to us to save the world. And we know that world. When you read scripture, you go back into Hebrews 20, you got to understand that the world of Israel is what he's talking about. And then that's another conversation. Understand who is Israel? Who are the Israelites today? And when you have that real conversation, you understand who Jesus is. There's no way you can walk away around. Only you can walk to. So if you really say you believe in Jesus, if you really say you love in Jesus, that's the day that you don't go shopping. It's the Sabbath. Come on and join the Jesus Walk. We're going to be walking down that Gun Hill Road, east of Gun Hill Road. We're going to walk all the way to Bartow Avenue, where we will turn and we'll have a great prayer as well. And we'll be going into Astor Little League Baseball field, where the 12th Community Engagement Day, partnering with Fun and Sun that I started as a council member, is continuing to happen. So you got to be there. Papa Sana be performing. There'll be some other groups that'll be in there, but there'll be food, there'll be resources, there'll be vendors in there. And I forgot to tell you, leading this walk, a great man who has a testimony to talk about things, Norman Seabrook, who was the president of COBA. And I appreciate Norman for his trials, his tribulations, but what the Lord has put him through to make him stand better and be stronger for himself and to his family and all around him. And another great iconic hip hopper who took the word of rap and changed it, and Christ called him, and now he has his own story to tell. Mr. Reverend, and we say our good doctor, I love him, Curtis Blow, will be joining us, leading the walk, and so many others from the Nation of Islam and Christianity. But we just, at the end of the day, we got to get better together as we learn truly who Christ is and let all that other side stuff fall by the wayside. So we're looking forward to that happening on the 3rd as well, as people go into the Fun of the Sun concert. Next, we want to let you know that on the 14th of August, the mall at Bay Plaza will be celebrating its 10th year anniversary. So everyone who was part of those early days, and I know I was part of the early days as a council member, arguing and negotiating with unions, making sure that people who got jobs on that work site were people who looked like the neighborhood, people who lived in the neighborhood, not just exporting union members who lived outside of the New York City area to take those jobs. And we had a successful campaign that people were able to work, whether putting cement or in the pipes or doing the bathrooms or the concrete, whatever it was, we were successful. And then doing job fairs to make sure that residents who lived in the borough of the Bronx got those jobs. So thank you and congratulations to the Mall at Bay Plaza for its 10-year anniversary. I'm looking forward to another 10 years of you celebrating and serving the borough of the Bronx. Also, we want to let you know on August 16th at the Mall of Bay Plaza Day, we having a back to school book bag giveaway. So if you have a student, make sure that you get to the mall between the August 4th to get your wristbands. That's the only way you can get in to participate and get the book bags and the supplies. You got to get a wristband for your child. So please, from August 4th till then, make sure you make your way over to Bay Plaza, in the Mall of Bay Plaza, to get your wristbands for your child. And last but not least is what leads us in today's conversation. Also happening this Saturday the 3rd. As a matter of fact, the 3rd is Miss Denise, who works with us, one of the Yep parents. We'll say happy birthday to her. And my loving and darling aunt, Auntie Leela Ruth King. That's her 85th birthday. God bless her, 85 years strong and doing it. So Auntie Ruth, I love you, and just saying happy birthday in advance. And we're looking forward to celebrating you on the weekend as well. But what's a great big celebration that's going to happen in Haffen Park is going to be the first ever Legends Day put together by Stackhouse Promotions and so many others, 1199 President George Gresham and the union itself, the Purple and Gold, the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program, yours truly. And we're just going to make sure that that day is a day that's full of education, because as the union will be doing, they'll be doing, as I understand, there'll be some voter registration drive, but we're going to let our guests talk a little bit more what that day looks like. And while we're talking about our guests, let's welcome them to King Talk Tuesday. Listen, I want to introduce this gentleman. I've known him for quite some time on the basketball court, from the Valley to the, I was going to make another joke, but I ain't a rapper, so I'm going to leave that one alone. But at the end of the day, he's been dedicated to the Bronx. He's been dedicated in his early years in Manhattan. But more importantly, he's been a steadfast dad, grandfather, and doing what black men should do, believing in Jesus, walking in those steps, and speaking it at the same time. I want to introduce to King Talk Tuesday, not the first time, but the second time. And as Shalimar said, second time around is better than the first, baby. Ladies, welcome to CEO and the president of Stackhouse Productions. Let's give it up for Darryl Stackhouse. Welcome to King Talk Tuesday, my brother. Thank you. Great. Now, with Batman, there's always a duo. You got to have a bit, it's Robin in the house. But I got to say, this Robin flies on his own. Got his own wings. He's been doing it from the Bronx. Not only that, he is a part of the Bronx, but he took those wings and took over the globe, doing what he had to do, educating young souls, young adults, and now is currently a professor and an author, making it happen, whether it's in the Bronx, Dubai, or now in Hawaii. We're asking you all to put your hands together for the one only, as he calls himself, Dr. T. I'm saying, wait a minute, you call yourself Dr. T? We got Dr. T. Ellsworth Hall, but we know him as Timmy Hall. All right, we know him as Timmy Hall. Let's welcome him to the show. Timmy Hall to the show. King Talk. First time. Welcome. Listen. We're so glad and thankful that you had time. I know your schedule is very busy, and I think we have a 6-hour difference from your location. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Wow. So listen, before we get into what this weekend, I haven't really seen you. Matter of fact, the last time I saw you had hair. So that tells you how long I haven't seen you in person. But
we all went to the same high school. That's for real.
That's right. But God is good. So talk to us a little about, what have you been doing since, for the last decade? We're pulling this event together for Saturday. But talk to us about you right now. Who is Timmy Hall? He's a Dr. T in the house.
Yeah, it's first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on here. It's great to be here. It's an honor. I'm happy to see all the wonderful programs that you're putting together in the Bronx, all the activities this summer. I'm just happy to be a part of it. It was fun watching the video come on, watching the youth, reminded Stack of, when we were coming up in that area. So we're all products of the same high school. I thought that was unique. The last 10 years, I've been taking the lessons I learned on the streets of the Bronx and in the Valley Park everywhere I went. And I try to impart to the youth that, no matter where you start, you can end up anywhere in the world you want to be. And every time you look at me, realize I'm not here because I'm good looking. I'm here because, I had to have patience. I had to put in the work, and people, recruited me, to teach physics and chemistry first in Abu Dhabi, then in Dubai. And, I enjoy working with the youth. That's the major thing, that keeps me growing, because as I tell them, I want to help you because somebody helped me. And, Stackhouse Productions, I'm happy to be a part of what Stack is doing. We call him Stack. Most people call him Mr. Stackhouse, but we're doing Uptown's Legends Day because in my mind, he is a legend. Like I explained to him, you know, Muhammad Ali was my idol, but Muhammad Ali never gave me a lift in the cold. Muhammad Ali never intervened when I was being bullied. So it's those neighborhood people like Stackhouse that are indelible marks on your mind. And so I just spent in the last 10 years traveling the world, using, the documentation I've received over the years to leverage that so I can get to the youth of the world and tell them, life is hard, but if you put your head down and work hard, you can do some amazing things. We all went to, and I'm going to say it, we all went to the same high school. And our nickname. What was the nickname of Evangelist?
Okay, EV in the house now. Okay, now.
What was our nickname? But yeah, we had a bad nickname. They made fun of us, but look at us now.
That's right. That's right.
Look at us now. We've come a long way. So that's part of why I'm happy to partner with Stackhouse Productions this weekend, so we can stand out there and be, physical representations that you can come in this park, and every day is not going to be a good day, and you're going to have challenges and you're going to have temptation, but you still can rise up, and with faith in God and in yourself, you can do some amazing things.
Well, all right, hallelujah. I'm with you. Amen. Amen. So we got to bring the man in right now. You're bringing tears to my eyes, bro. Let's bring the man in himself. Daryl Stackhouse, President, CEO of Stackhouse Production. Before we get into what Stackhouse Production, tell my audience, who is Daryl Stackhouse? Who is the Stack himself, the man?
G.I. Joe.
Quite a few people have made out of me. I got my style from different people as I grew up. I analyzed this guy, that guy. So you take a little piece of everybody to make yourself something and just leave out the bad part. All right. So that's how I got to where I got to today. And I always respected everybody older than me. I don't care what happened to them later on down life. I still respected them to the last minute. And that's hard for the young people to do now. They don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So you have to preach to teach, live to learn. You know what I mean? So that's what I do.
Sounds like words of wisdom for all our viewers. All right, so let's get into why we are here. Legends Day. Explain to me or to our viewers, what is Legends Day?
Legends Day is about people that grew up in uptown area, that every neighborhood had somebody they idoled. Every neighborhood I've been to, because I've been to all the neighborhoods. I get along with everybody, and everybody has that person in their neighborhood they look up to. So I wanted to do Legend Day for the whole uptown, because a lot of people are not here anymore, but you still talk about it, And I always tell people, legends never die. They just fade away. And what I mean by that, they die or disappear until someone brings them back up in the conversation. Michael Jordan doesn't play basketball no more, but his name is always coming up. So that's what legacy it means to me. Your name is always going to come up because you left a footprint.
Left a footprint. So, Timmy, he talked about people leaving footprints. In your mind, a lot of students tune in and all across the globe are chiming in. When we talk about the definition of a legend, what would be your answer?
It's very simple to me. I can give you the perfect example. People turn on the TV right now. They see people dunking the basketball. Every other play in the NBA, even in college, people dunking basketballs. Well, I remember the first time I ever saw a human being dunk a basketball. And I remember who that human being was. And it was not Dr. J. Because if you remember, the NBA, when we were kids, was on the radio most of the time. And the NBA Finals was in tape delay. So if you wanted to see the NBA, it was not as easy as it is today. And I remember I was at 144. I was in middle school, and someone came down on the fast break, and we're in New York City. We know New York City basketball. Everybody finger rolls. We was finger rolling before you knew who George Gervin was. And the young kids, if you don't know who that is, look him up. He's the Iceman.
That's right.
He was a scoring machine.
He finger roll from the dotted line. He finger rolling 20 feet away from
And so the first human being I ever saw dunk a basketball was out of Eastchester Projects. His name was Kenny Johnson. And I know you know who I'm talking about. With Clinton. So as a young child, 12, 13 years old, never seen him. I thought he was going to roll in it. And suddenly he flushes it. And I'm like, what just happened? What did he do? The whole team went crazy. So that's legendary to me because I never saw anybody do that before on TV, but I got to see it in person. And so it's so many things. I wrote my book, and my book on page 72, I talked about Stack's big brother, Knowledge, the time they called him Big Rick. He's a legend. You know why? Because a lady stole a pocketbook in the Valley Park. Somebody stole a woman's pocketbook in the Valley. I was about 10 years old. The park was half built. I saw Big Rick Knowledge form a posse when he heard about it within minutes. And within an hour or two, the person who snatched the pocketbook was caught, and the lady got her pocketbook back. And that's organic. He didn't do it for money. He didn't do it for praise. He did it because he's a human being, and that's what you do. So for me, that's a legend.
Now that's what I want to do, because I do want to turn the conversation right now into another direction, because for a lot of our young people, we started this conversation about legends on the basketball court. But when we start talking about the legends of life, you just mentioned Big Rick Knowledge, you know, who did something that was big in humanity's eyes. Talk to us, Stack, a little bit about the legends off the court that our young people should be revering each and every day.
Ooh, there's a lot of people like that. We had guys from our neighborhood, went to college. We had two people from our neighborhood got a SAT mark so high they could have went to any college they want for free. And that's legendary. And we sitting there and we look like, whoa, you know, everybody else is struggling to take that test. And these two guys, they just zap right through there. You know what I mean? So there's people like that we look up to too. Leon Winters and Bill Bailey. And those guys are unbelievable, man. And you talk to them, they talk to you like regular human beings. You would never know they had those backgrounds and that education.
Okay. And jump in any time, because we want our children to know there's more than just a sports legend.
And then there's examples of, he was a scholar, he's an actor, he's been in 70 major motion pictures. Yeah. His first major motion picture that I recall was Serpico.
Yes.
He grew up in our neighborhood. His name's Damian Leake. I've seen him come to Valley Day, and less inspiring individuals than us would say, oh, I saw you in all these movies. When are you going to be the star? I mean, that's not the way that works. It's very difficult. You become a professional in anything.
Yes.
Getting work is the challenge. So he should be revered. He's a legendary, and he's 70 major motion pictures. You can go on TV, and if you're watching this, you can Google him right now, Damian Leake, and you'll also find out he holds 3 world records. So these are the legends from uptown that inspire me every day to this day. I've seen them give lectures on the basketball court, but I've also seen them go out in life and achieve great things. So when people look at me, I've run 11 marathons. I'm working on qualifying for the Boston Marathon. They say, why are you driving? Because it's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the guys that came before me, how clean they kept their cars, how well they kept themselves. I can remember walking up the stack in the dead of winter, cars shining, wax, Simonized. It just was a snowstorm. The night before,
Oh yeah.
rim shining, no salt on the car, nothing. I'm a young kid. I'm like a teenager. I go, oh my God, man, how do you keep your car so clean? You know,
Right. Right.
he said, yo, you could do the same thing. You're just not focused on it.
Mm. And I'm glad that both of you, we were able to take it out of the realm of sports, because people don't understand. You talked about our brother, 70 movies, longevity, consistency allows you to have a reputation of being a legend. Not just, there's a lot of, you could say, record people, song artists who are one hit wonders. After that one hit, they're gone, they're dead, and nothing ever materialized out of that. But someone who does something that changes lives, or constantly moving the needle on how people think or how they behave, or you want to emulate. Like you said, the gentleman you're washing your car, shining it up. Or back in the day, you had your lead jeans, your creases had to be tight on your jeans.
Absolutely.
You would need none of the sadness on your underwear.
No.
We were, as 14 or 15, you dressed neat. We were. If you think about that generation, was kind of legendary itself. The way we dressed, the way we moved. You look at the pictures today.
We were wearing suit jackets in Evander.
Yes, and ties.
Ties, especially Easter. Your mom's gonna let you out the house if you didn't have a suit on.
Right.
All right, you going to church first, then you go to movies where we want to do later. But you got to put that suit and tie on, and you got to go pray to the Lord. That was done in my house, and that's what we had to do.
I would fly from Hawaii to go to a one-day event in the Bronx, and you say why? Because when I was a kid, there was a drug epidemic uptown, and there were sides of the street that the older brothers wouldn't let you walk on. If they caught you walking on the side of the street where that illicit activity was taking place, you got a butt whipping. They would go off.
Right.
So that is the community we're from. Uptown is like that, period. It's not just.
And those words are so powerful, because now you're talking about legendary goals beyond the one individual, but a collective as a neighborhood or community that is legendary. When you could talk about how even in those misbehaviors or bad behavior, there were codes of conduct that men would not let children engage in activities that was unbecoming of a child. Today, where's the legend in this? Where are they?
One of the greatest feelings in the world is when you're an athlete and you're going into an area where, there's illicit activity going on, and you walk through and they don't say nothing to you. They say, oh, no. Yo, that's Andy King. Yo, he plays ball. He's going to college. Yo, no, that's Stack. You better not say nothing to him. He don't do that. That's the legendary. Why would I come back? Because everywhere I've been around the world, the lessons learned in my community in Uptown, at Evander, that's what carries me through life. Life is a conversation. Life is not a test where you write words. When you get on the plane and you start talking to people, if I met someone and they told me they were from Florida, and I said, yeah, oh, you're from Florida? Man, what's your favorite orange they grow down there? And they go, what? They grow oranges in Florida? You're like, oh, you ain't been. So we're New Yorkers. We're blessed to have grown up in an area that has a multitude of cultural things we could do. But the most important thing to do to survive there, you got to have mentorship. You got to have older brothers and sisters, old elders, people protested to get the park built. Those are legends. People signed petitions so that we could have the park. We're going to be in the park August 3rd. It's going to be fantastic. We got 6 DJs. We got a live band coming. We got voter registration. Because
let's talk about that after the break, because I want to get deep dive into what this Saturday is going to be. But we are at halftime of King Talk Tuesdays. So in halftime, we got to take a quick break. So I hope my producers, everybody is ready. But we'll be right back on King Talk Tuesdays as we get into Jesus Week celebration from a message from Israel United in Christ.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Scan that QR code that you will see on the screen. Because guess what? We trying to push this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Let's push this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Stop playing games.
Make sure you subscribe to all our channels. We're pushing the truth.
Make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Stop playing games.
Welcome back to King Talk Tuesdays, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We cover so many topics, whether it's education, economics, spirituality, and so much more. We air every Tuesday live on Millennium News 24, as well as Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, Apple TV, Horizon Satellite. We also air at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays on Optimal Channel 70, as well as Files Channel 2136. And I keep saying and reminding everybody what I always shared and say, that people pay attention to people who participate. So we need you to participate in your community, participate more in your children's life, have your children participate more in their lives and in your life, and tell a friend and neighbor that we're on so you can join us in the last segment, half an hour of King Talk Tuesdays. We are in halftime, and as a basketball player, I guess you have to get my stretch on, make sure I got my flow going on, But at the end of the day, at halftime, it's time to regroup in life. And many of us, we need to figure out what that regrouping looks like. The world has been really ugly in the last couple of years. People have been hurting each other, horrible words, horrible actions. We got to find a way to love one another. Most important, we got to find a ways to love ourselves. When we love and respect ourselves, people see it coming out of you and they can only give it back to you. And if that spirit is so burnt and hurt and flipped upside or touched it or just tapped into the satanic part of life, I just ask you to send a prayer up. Pray for yourselves. Pray for your family. Pray for your neighbors. Pray for your community. Pray for your enemies. Pray for your friends. Pray for your frenemies. Just pray. I'm asking because prayer does work. And when you're able to do that, like I said, let Christ carry you through those moments of trials and tribulations. Because when you don't, you shall trip and fall. Trust me, concrete hurts. So let the Most High in Christ do what he promised us when he first put this world together. And if we can do that, we can and shall be, as a good man I know, be better together. So again, thank you everyone for joining in this evening to King Talk Tuesdays with my two fine distinguished guests that are here today. And we're going to jump in the second half because we got two legends here today. And we're talking about this Saturday having what's called the first ever Legends Day here in Hampton Park in the North Bronx. And we're just going to kick it in. And these two young men are on Darryl Stackhouse, who is the CEO and founder of Stackhouse Production, and we have Dr. I can only call him Timmy Hall because that's how, Dr. Ellensworth. I'm like, well, I'm looking at a book now, Dr. Ellensworth. All right, Pastor Great Vaughn. But I appreciate you because you're somebody that we all can look up to. You're somebody, when we look at the books of Evander Childs High School, who were the products? Because some of the students today don't see the success that we knew that we were just because of the legends that were in front of our eyes each and every day. So let's talk about it, Mr. Stackhouse. Talk to us about Legends Day that's happening this Saturday. What was your inspiration to do this?
Yeah, I always wanted to do it, and I just didn't put it together. Well, how I started, I used to watch other people do stuff, and they start off something and never finish it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to start nothing and don't finish it. I can't stand the unfinished product. If you're going to start something, stick with it, all right? And if we stay together and pray together, it'll get done. Mm-hmm. Don't wander off and say, yeah, I'm all in, and then all of a sudden you're all out. You can't do that in life. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason why I did it. And I have a lot of people supporting me. I got the best friends in the world. I got the best friends in the world. People always talk about family. I understand family. But my loyalty means more to me sometimes than family. Sometimes you ask the family to do something, you hear all these stories. Well, I'll get back to you, or I'll let you know. But when I ask my loyal friends, I'm going to do something, okay, we with it. And that's the way I like it. I like it. So when they ask me to do something, I'm with it too. So that's another thing.
That's interesting you say that, Vic. I read a quote and I thought it was interesting, but it made sense. They said, family is somebody who sticks with you and got your back. Relatives are somebody just got the same bloodline.
Yeah.
That's okay. I can see where you're coming from. Talk to us, Dr. T up there. You know, you decided to join and be a part of Stackhouse Productions. And what was your motivation, to say, let me get behind this project?
Well, I've pretty much known Stackhouse my entire life. And he's always been like, yo, straight shooter with me. The basketball court, if he didn't like somebody, he let him know. If he liked them, he let him know. He was always someone, he was easy to look up to, him and his brother. I mean, years ago, they formed a thing called the Uptown Organization. And that was basically a vigilante group so that we could have safe passage uptown. And they got together all the neighborhoods. Everybody had a representative, Co-op, the Valley, the Twos, Olinville, Edenwall, everybody. It was called the Uptown Organization. And it was because the area had proliferated with gangs. And in order to have safe passage, you needed to be affiliated with somebody. At that time, if you remember, what was it, the early 70s? It was gangs were rampant in New York City. And ever since that time, I've always had respect for him. Last year I took him and his brother out to dinner because as we get older, I want to give people their flowers while they're alive.
Right.
So when he asked me to help him, I said, you know what? I see no reason why not. I know you're going to do a great job. Everything you do has a certain standard to it. So I had no problem. And anybody that knows me, you're teasing me about Timmy Hall. That was 40 years ago. And people still come up to me and say and compliment me. And it's nice, but I never did it for that. And one of the reasons is if you say Timmy Hall in the Uptown in the Bronx, the next thing they say is from the Valley, y'all. And seeing the legends in the Valley and Uptown is what inspired me to do whatever I did 40 years ago that people still talk about. It was always driven by the pride instilled in me by witnessing the camaraderie, the unity, and the ethics. Because back then, if someone from our neighborhood jumped somebody and didn't give them a fair fight, when they got back to that park, it's going to be a problem. I was young. I'm 11, 12, but I was there. The edict was, we don't jump people.
Right.
You let them get a fair one. And if when you come down there, you come down the Valley and you beat us by 40 in a basketball game, there might be one or two guys going, yo, let's beat them up. Not going to happen. Not going to happen because that wasn't the example that the older people set.
Right.
The Damian Leaks, the Leon Winters, the Stackhouses, the Lurches. There's more names. So when he said we're going to get an opportunity to big up the legends uptown, including the people from Eastchester and Edenwall and Olinville, yeah. Oh, no, I'm all about that. And like I'll say to you, yeah, we all have idols, but none of them came through the park and told us how to conduct ourselves. None of them told us, yo, you're going down the wrong path. I had a brother from uptown see me. I went to Justine's one night. I went around the corner. I was trying to impress this young lady. She was older than me. I was trying to, make friends. And I went in a place and there was illicit drug activity going on. Not your misdemeanor stuff, not marijuana, not cocaine. It was in wax paper.
Wow.
And I said, that smells funny. That doesn't look like the usual. And guess what happened? One of the older brothers came out the back and saw me, lost his mind. What the hell are you doing in here? If you don't,
Right.
he didn't care. We was in Midtown Manhattan. He's like, you know what that is? You shouldn't even be in here. And I kind of played it off, and but I got that's legendary.
There you go. There you
He
go.
he didn't get money. It wasn't for his ego. It wasn't for he could look cool. It was because he saw a young brother from the community in a place that could lead to his total destruction. And he wasn't having it.
Will our real men please stand up? That's the question today. Where are our real men to tell our young brothers that you're getting it wrong? And where is the young brother who understands you got to respect the legends? You got to respect your elders. We all had to do it. You're no different. And maybe that's why the world's a little bit upside. Well, not, I ain't going to say a little bit. It's upside down right now because the structure that builds a man, the formula is simple, but you got to be committed to doing it. Yeah. Talk to us about this weekend that's about to happen. What do you plan on seeing in the playground?
Oh, you're going to see everybody taking pictures, showing love, hugging, telling old stories about their neighborhood and this and that. And I love hearing those stories because I went to everybody's neighborhood. So I just happen to know everybody. And I just like to hear what everybody's got to say. And it feels good when they all get together and they start talking. I love that. Instead of arguing and fighting and all this. I don't know how people grow up and you fight your brother and your sister. That's your family member. I never agreed with that. Right. I could be mad at my brother or something, but we never gonna get in a fist fight. Right. Not a fist fight. But now that means there's no respect here. You know what I mean? And a lot of these dads, they don't bring these kids up right. Because certain things Father did, dad was gonna put it to me. He would just look at you like, oh really? Oh really? All right. These kids now, they don't listen to nobody. So I figured it all starts at home. Everything starts at home.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to hear that you was born as a killer or born as a drug guy. Or I don't want to hear that. Everything starts at the house. If you're going to be drinking around the house and all that, they're going to be drinking around the house. The next thing they're going to tell you, but Dad, you did it. Well, you did it. So I don't know how you can do that.
Well, Timmy, give us your spiel on what you anticipate happening this weekend at Legends Day.
I believe God is going to be in the building. When we get together, it's fellowship, it's storytelling. It's we're not coming with any egos. There's no arrogance Saturday. This is for the community. When we play, we are one and everybody's on one accord. When we play family reunion, when we play summer madness and people remember the good times. No, it wasn't always good. Not every day was wonderful. But when we put on that music on Saturday, when that live band comes out there and that music, that energy, that vibration, it's going to be like a wedding reception where everybody's happy. Everybody, we can't be amused and entertained all the time. But on Saturday, it'll be your day. Let your hair down. Look at it. Maybe somebody will forgive somebody they got a grudge with. But that's the opportunity. We got 6 different DJs. We got the band. It's not about ego. We're not trying to promote a club. Oh, we're going to do voter registration because that's really important. Shout out to 1199 because we're going to have voters registration. But my whole thing, I'm going to take the words of my good buddy, KBJ. We're going to be dedicated to good times and the spirit of happiness on Saturday. That's what I expect. And I see no less because that's what we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do. The spirit of happiness, spirit of fun, spirit of joy, the spirit of remembering, the spirits. Because I know people going to get together, tell some stories, tell us what they remember. They're going to make up some stories. They're going to change the story.
Yeah. This is right here all the time.
Like, when did that happen?
But you see, over 35 to write it down.
Greatness leaves clues. And when people do a great thing, when they do it over decades, there's a difference. You said, why did I partner with Stack? It's been decades. I've come home. I've been to Dubai and back. I lived in Florida for 30 years. Every time, nothing changed. Look at him right there. It's the same way he was as a teenager. You see his hat, the shirt, the juke.
Legendary.
he gave props to where he got it from. Like,
well, we're going to give some props. I got to take a break right now as we get ready to have so much fun before we go into our last segment. So we're going to be right back on King Talk Tuesdays after a word from Fun in the Sun.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Scan that QR code that you will see on the screen. Because guess what? We trying to push this truth toward the four corners of the earth. Let's push this truth toward the four corners of the earth, man. Stop playing games.
Make sure you subscribe to all our channels. We pushing the truth. Make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Stop playing games.
Welcome back to King Talk Tuesdays. I'm your host, Andy King, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. Yes, we are here every Tuesday on Millennium News TV 24, as well as Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, Horizon Satellite, and Apple TV. We air 9 p.m. on Tuesdays as well on BronxNet Channel 70 and Fios Channel 2136, excuse me. But listen, we're going into the last segment of tonight's show, and I'm just so happy and grateful to be with a couple of legends as we embark on Legends Day. And now we talk about Legends Day. There is a legend, and I want to give him a shout out. And I want to just talk a little bit about this organization that's doing something that's part of history. The Great Union of 1199 SEIU, President George Gresham, kudos to you and to your team over the last 40, 50, 60 years that 1199 has been doing the work. My wife was 1199er who was executive VP, project coordinator, but giving her life over three decades of being part of this historic organization that's done so much for social justice, for healthcare workers, and just for children, as President Gresham has been a great supporter of children. So this weekend, as I understand it, 1199 is definitely part of the event. And we hear something about voter registration. Talk to us a little bit about what does voter registration actually mean and the importance of people actually being engaged in voting.
That's an interesting question. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people out here that don't vote. They always tell me they don't care who vote, or they'll tell me, oh, we ain't going to win it anyway. And I hate when they say that. I said, you got to apply yourself. What do you mean? That's negative talk you talking. You got to talk positive. We're going to vote. We're going to get who we want into office, and we're going to try to have things changed. But these negative people, they don't want to hear that. So, we're going to be pushing very hard for that, very hard. And that's one of the big programs. Mm-hmm. And George Gresham is a Valley boy, and we've been friends since public school. All right. So we always had a bond. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm happy he's on board and he's doing what he's doing. And I love it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Legacy and legends. We never separate. He can live somewhere for 10 years and come back, and we're still on the same accord. All right? That's when you know you got a real friend or whatever. Other people go away, come back. You don't hear from them. You don't see them. Right. Nothing. You don't know what's going on. But everybody else, when you come back and sit down, it's like just like you never left. And that's what I like. Well,
that's why we have a Legends Day, and a person like George Gresham, who grew up in the Valley, part of the Valley family. And that's really being able to come back and give what you were earned and grew up to become something great, that you could be in a legend. So when people see you've done something, not just wasted away. And of course, bad decisions are bad decisions on this earth, but that doesn't mean every bad decision should be the end of your life, that you cannot correct things. So I applaud him. Dr. T up there, talk to us a little bit about voter participation, because I always say people pay attention to people who participate. So what's the importance of participating, especially as we're going into possibly another historic voting season coming up in a couple of weeks?
Oh, I would look at an analogy like this. You gotta vote. Good things happen when you vote. If you don't vote, you're just being negative. You're just saying there's no hope. It doesn't matter. If you have the ability to vote, you should go. And people say, well, it's not going to matter. Well, here's the thing. If you see a homeless person and they ask you for $1 and you got it, the extra $1 to give, once you give them that $1, your work is done. It's God, the universe, whatever's going to happen with that money, whether they go buy food or they go buy a fix, that's not on you. So when you put that vote in, you vote for who you think is going to do the most good for the most people, but at least vote. I'm not telling anybody who to vote for, but I say you need to vote. It's not for you to say. It's something that you should do. Even when I was in Dubai, I make sure I absentee ballot. And, it's something you got to do, and all the young people have to know that. Nothing's perfect, anything you do in life. Put it this way. If you start a garden, you can expect weeds. It's naive to grow a garden and expect that you're not going to get weeds. If you want to keep your lawn nice, you're going to put the grass down, but weeds are going to grow. So you got to understand that life requires maintenance. And it's probably our job as human beings, not just citizens, to monitor who it goes into office, whether it's local or whether it's the White House. And what we see, if you're not paying attention, I'd say to somebody, the presidential election is huge, but whoever's in Congress, they gang up on the president, and the president can't do much sometimes. That's been my experience. But, I'm no political science expert. But if you don't mind, could I just give a shout out to the DJs that agreed to participate?
Oh, go for it.
I just want to give a shout out. We got DJ Breakout. We got Ron G. And we got my man, Jazzy J, the original Jazzy J. And then we also got my man, Mike Matrix Porter. He's out the valley. I'd be remiss if I didn't remember DJ Hands. That's Stacks, man. And we got Breakout. Breakout's got a special somebody he's bringing along, a young man named Powerful. I haven't said I've seen him perform yet, but Breakout vouch for him. So we're going to go with it. And just come on out. All legends will be acknowledged. If you come out there Saturday, trust me, you will be acknowledged from every area, uptown, Mount Vernon. It don't matter, because I'm a young man that gets pleasure out of announcing all the neighborhoods, because it reminds me of the great times and the great mentorships and the great camaraderie. We all went to Evander, man. We all in there together. Eastchester, Olinville, Claremont, Soundview, Castle. We all went to Evander. We all knew. So, you get a chance to go back, and if people don't understand it, come Saturday and feel the energy, and maybe you'll get a clue. Right?
Maybe you get a clue. So as we get closer to wrapping up tonight's show, when you're reaching out, and we know we're bringing in legends, but still, as we bring in legends, how do we encourage, or how are we inviting the next generation to be a part of the day so they can grab some of that, all that wisdom that's going to be in the air?
Well, when they come out, they'll see what we doing and where we came from. And that means it's possible for you to do it. And when I go, I want somebody to carry it on. So I want to pass it on and hope somebody else passes it on, and it turns into a legacy. All right. Because if no one's leading, it's not going to work. And I always tell everybody, if you want to be a leader, you have to be a good follower. So I explain that to people all the time. So they ask you what it means, and I have to tell them. So we're hoping we can make some history here with this thing here. We're hoping. I'm praying on it.
And we can't help but inspire the youth, because when we go out there and we see them and we look in their eyes and we see them watching, I'm going to tell them like I told them 40 years ago, sex is good and money's great, but they won't help you in an earthquake.
I like that one.
I told them that 40 years, and I'm going to tell them that tomorrow. I'm going to tell them everybody that helps you ain't your friend. Everybody give you a hard way to go is not your enemy. And there's stories that go along with that. You know, I'm going to quote a middle school teacher a lot of people are familiar with that went to 144. I was reading about a legend from Sousa. He was in charge of the music department. I think his name was Grundle. Anybody that went to John Philip Sousa, he said he used to stand in the front of the door. But another kid that graduated from Sousa is now a physicist, and he has a book called The Jazz of Physics. Stefan, I can't remember his last name, but if you go on Audible, you'll see the jazz, and he's from Uptown. He's a legend. Mm-hmm. So when they see us, they're going to inspire us to let them know. Next time you go out to eat with your parents, put your phone away, because the people in this park will tell you your parents don't live forever. Don't be at wherever you're eating out looking at your cell phone like your parents are never going to move on to another plane. Because they will. So those are the things that, you know, I'm around youth all the time, and you are too, and you know they inspire you. So just us being there, no, we're not going to be cursing. You ain't going to be hearing us being and hoeing, and we're not going to be N-wording. And we're going to tell them about Frankie Crocker.
Oh, yeah, if your radio isn't on. If your radio, Frankie Crocker ain't on your radio ain't really on.
For the man who set a standard so high that it was very hard to emulate. So they couldn't emulate him, so they took the shortcut. And now no one talks about him. How dare you? Right. How dare you? Because he's not a DJ in New York City in the last 50 years that wasn't inspired by who? The Chief Rocker.
Chief Rocker, Frankie Crocker. I got to give it to you for bringing that name up, because he is the legend. When it comes to DJ, he is the legend, because he set the stage of how you were supposed to talk. No one's ever matched him for what he's done. And the people emulated his show. I was in college, and we were trying to emulate what he did with the mixing and the promos, you know, to make it sound like WBLS.
There's a young person listening to this, and they go, "Oh, who's Frankie Crocker? I never heard of him."
Right.
Are you out of your mind? Michael Jackson, if you're a young person listening to this, Michael Jackson, Thriller, you know him, the height of his career. Donna Summers, the height of their careers, internationally known. If they wanted a record played in New York City, you know who they brought it to?
They brought it to Chief Rocker.
And he played it live. The first long-playing Disco 45 was played live, like your show, on WBLS Frankie Crocker show. That's so legendary.
That's legendary. Yeah. Listen, we've run out of time. Stack, I'm going to give you the last word. Who was your greatest legend in your heart?
You really want to know?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. No one above that.
Listen, I don't think there's anything else left to be said.
Well, like I said, you can get knowledge from a book, but where do you get everything else? Where you get the wisdom from?
Well,
okay, you can't read wisdom. You have to ask for it, and he'll give it to you.
You heard it from the Stack himself. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank both of you, my brothers from Showing Up Legends. Everyone, please make your way to Legends Day in Haven Park and the Valley Park, as we all know it as well. Make sure you get there Saturday, 12 noon, and we'll be going until we can't go anymore. But as we always do on King Talk Tuesdays, we end every show with a scripture. Tonight's scripture reads from Leviticus 19:32. You shall rise before the gray-headed and honor the presence of the old man, and fear your God. I am the Lord. If no one told you today, God loves you, and so do I. Your friend, your brother, and your neighbor, Andy King. Peace.